Welcome to Sabs podcast. I'm your host, sabrinasalvati. My special guests today are Halo and her daughter, Aspen. Aspen is facing a mandatory minimum of 33 years in prison for a crime that she did not commit. First and foremost, welcome, Halo and Aspen.
Thank you, Sabby.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So, I want to start from the very beginning. Charlie, my friend Charlie Mack, reached out to me and told me about this particular situation, and I'm just baffled. Number one, by the charges that Aspen is facing, and also the events that took place. But for those who are not aware, could you please explain how this mandatory minimum of 33 years came to be?
Well, so I had some friends, his best friend actually, his name is Tyler, and
He'd moved away and she went to go visit him. And she was going to spend the summer selling her art at music festivals. She's a starving artist, not a drug trafficker, okay? A starving artist. And she went down, well, tell what happened.
So we actually drove down there, me and Mom drove down there halfway to meet them so that we could, say bye and blah, blah, blah. And we go and hang out, and everything is kind of animosity and pawned off on, and then go leading up into the music festival. We were in an RV.
Not her friend, a friend of her friend.
Yeah.
Like she ended up going, instead of going to the music festival with her friend that she went to go visit, she went with a friend of his.
Yeah, I kind of got pawned off on,
here, go sell your art with this guy.
yeah, they just kind of didn't want to deal with me anymore. It was like, I was burdenous. So it was like, okay, well, I'll go with him. We'll go, have fun, sell art, make money, whatever. And so we go to Suwannee Resonate in Florida in his RV, and it was awesome. I did not sell any art. I sold some of their art, like crocheted goods and whatever. But once we were leaving, he got heat sickness, so we stopped in Georgia, like just to hook up to like an RV park overnight. It was like, let's just lay down. We don't have anywhere to be super fast. And next morning we wake up and had trouble starting actually, and got a jump and leave, and we're on the highway for maybe 4 minutes before we were pulled over by Georgia State Police, and immediately just...
Was it state police or was it Fort Valley police?
It was the state police, okay, because it was a blue and orange car, so I think so, yeah. But we were immediately pulled out and searched because it smelled like weed. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I'm not a pothead, but I'm not like a drug trafficker. I'm not a drug dealer. That's not I smoke weed, but...
And to be fair, she at no point saw him sell drugs.
No.
Whatever he had going on, she at no point saw anything like that.
So immediately they tore everything apart. He was in cuffs before I was. I had actually asked to go back into the camper to go, like, relieve myself. And they were like, no, you can't. You can go on the side of the road if you can't hold it. And so they made me pee on the side of the highway.
On Highway 75, U.S. Highway 75.
That was a fun time.
Which is a misdemeanor. The police made her do a misdemeanor crime rather than letting her use the bathroom in the RV.
Yeah,
whatever.
And I have bladder problems and just certain health conditions that affect whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's part of it. Anyways,
at the time,
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I'm sorry.
At the time when the police, like, she was aware that there was some marijuana. It wasn't hers, but it was only personal use.
Yeah.
She was aware of that, but they found a bunch of other drugs. Although the biggest charges come from the marijuana, since that's apparently worse than,
yeah,
I don't know, because of the scheduling. But they found a bunch of other drugs, and immediately the driver and owner of the drugs and the RV
He
was like, that's not hers. Like,
she
this,
actually doesn't have any clue what's going on. Don't make this
but
hard
they
for her.
arrested her anyway.
And he even stated this to the magistrate. He's stated this to his own personal lawyer, the
investigators,
over and over again,
everybody.
saying, like, hey, like, she was lied to. We all kind of fucking lied to her. Oh, I'm so sorry. I probably can't cuss. But we all lied to her, and this isn't on her.
Like, because apparently this is a thing. Like, he has a record and a history of doing that, of selling drugs at festivals. Like, the magistrate literally asked her, because he went before the magistrate first when they were trying to set bail, but because the charges are so heavy, she had to go before a circuit court judge to get bail, because of the severity of the charges. And the magistrate, asked her after he told the magistrate, like, listen, she was unaware that she's not involved in this. And the magistrate cautioned him, like, making this statement in court can affect your defense. And he was like, I don't care. I'll talk to the investigators.
Outright.
Like, so there's him on record saying, it's mine. It's not hers. Like, she didn't know about it. Well, then when it was her turn before the magistrate, he was like, listen, what are you doing with this guy? Like, he's got a record of doing this. She doesn't. She's never even had a traffic ticket.
And I didn't know he had, like, any sort of a record or history of doing anything. Like, I'm not gonna run, like, background. I didn't know to do, like, background checks. He was vouched for by a friend that has
a close
been
family friend
for 8 years. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna, if your family says, yeah, you can trust this person, like, it's okay. Like, that's how,
you're safe to ride with him to a festival.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, as a mom, I didn't know him, and I was a little worried about him. Well, she's a pretty girl,
but he was so respectful. He's a good guy. Like, I'm not gonna. Well, I mean, what is a good guy anymore? But
anyway, so they charged her with the exact same charges that they charged him with, and apparently that is there's no official party law in Georgia. I think, like, Texas has a party law, but there's no official law that says you have to charge passengers with the driver's crime in Georgia. But in Peach County, that's historically what they do. It seems like a money grab. I was told by people, like, if you have out-of-state plates, you get pulled over when you're going through their county on 75. It's like I don't know if it's a money-making scheme on their end, but it feels like a war on the poor kind of thing,
I don't know what it was, but it was horrible. I mean, getting pulled over was the easy part. Being in the jail was
yeah, they're not in Georgia. They have all these special rules where, like, the lawyer that got her the bond, represented her at the bond hearing, said he was like, the sheriff, because they wouldn't let her sign a HIPAA release to let me bring her. They lied to me and told me they gave her her inhaler. She never received her inhaler. And she has it's something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. She has a lot of problems that we manage all through diet and supplements, non-pharmaceutically, with the exception of that she has to have B12 shots or she won't be able to walk. And she missed one going to the festival, and then she missed another one while she was in there. They would do nothing at all, like, literally would do nothing. And then her inhaler, which is a rescue inhaler, because she has asthma, and they would not give it to her. None of the inmates, and here's the scary thing, they segregated the inmates by race, Sabby.
Literally,
black people in one pod, white people
and then mixed races in one pod, and the privilege, like, the hierarchy system in this jail, like,
they weren't allowed out at the same time in the common areas.
Yeah.
So they did not allow people to. It was. But
the
weirdest
also,
thing.
they would give more time to other pods, and it was.
And no outside time whatsoever. Not allowed.
Once.
No daylight coming in. Film on those tiny window that is in the cell. And the lawyer said what he told me. He was like, the sheriff runs that place like a fiefdom. Those were his exact words.
Was it the sheriff that kept my
Yeah, they
license?
kept her ID. Well, no, it was the cop that pulled her over. Like when we did get her out on bail, and they, were returning her property or whatever. They had taken her license. They couldn't find it. They had to call the cop that arrested her. He apparently had taken
Took
her
it
ID home with him. I don't know if that's how it's normal to go about things.
I don't feel like that's.
But and my biggest concern is though, given the racism that we saw, is that the person who has claimed the drugs, who owns the RV, the guilty party, is white.
White. He has college degrees.
His
family owns antique stores and go to Europe and stuff like that. So
your voice regulation. She has autism.
I'm sorry, but it's comparatively, I look like the bad kid.
We're worried about that, like the optics of and just the general racism that Southern Georgia is clearly known for. I don't want the poor kid to take the rap for the rich white kid when she does no record, no criminal, like she's never even had a speeding ticket. She doesn't do bad
I've been pulled
things.
over one time, and it was because my taillight was out, and he actually helped me with the bulb. That is my experience.
But where we're at now is that once you get into like, we've already spent several $1,000s for me going down to Georgia, the bail, hiring the lawyer for the bail hearing to get the bail. But with what's coming up, I'm not using a pro bono lawyer. Like I was told by the magistrate, who was very, very helpful. Like he realized right away, what'd you get yourself into, kid? Like he was very kind.
Compassionate.
So he recommended the judge that, are the lawyer for us to hire, and that's been helpful and everything. But the costs are out of this world. Like I don't know. I mean, we've been doing fundraising, and we're almost where we can, because we need an investigator here for some other stuff that I can't really, but I'm more intent to kind of prove her innocence rather than hope that they'll see her innocence. So we need the private investigator money, lawyer money. It's going to be $15,000 to represent her at trial. And we need like medical experts to talk about, like, so you're going to try to put somebody in jail for 33 years that you will have to financially, the taxpayers will have to financially cover all of her medical costs with her conditions. And do you know what I mean? And then they would be treated pharmaceutically rather than treating naturally, like that's how we do. It's just terrifying. And we're just sitting waiting. Like we don't have a court date yet. When we got her on a bond, they said within 3 to 6 months we would have a court date.
This was back in May.
Yeah, she got out in June 4th, and we still have. I mean, every time I go to the post office, I'm relieved that there isn't anything there because we haven't raised enough money to hire the people we need to hire to do things. But it's still that. It just seems like we're held hostage right now of. Can't do anything to start proving her innocence or making any sort of defense until we're past the fundraising point. And then there's the added emotional thing, or I guess the realization of, what do people do that don't have friends like Charlie Mack, that aren't known activists, that aren't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they knew that she was autistic. They have no facilities there to accommodate anything. They wouldn't let her have her weighted blanket.
I mean, they just thought I was arguing and having an attitude by asking simple questions, like
as though she'd been arrested before. How are you supposed to know what to do?
I literally got my shower taken away one day just because I was asking for clarification on why it was different rules for me than the girl that had just previously been out before me. I just wanted to understand what was happening. Like, I was just asking a question.
And then she wasn't able to, like, answer their questions fast enough because of a lot of autistics, and she's one who suffers from it. There's just a longer processing time, and they want answers right now, and they think that saying, oh, are you asking this, or are you asking, the clarifying questions that somebody whose brain processes things this way has to answer or has to ask. They saw it as her being like defiant or argumentative, when she's not that's not her personality at
Yeah,
all.
I'm just, I'm only trying to understand.
It's just this whole thing has been a nightmare. Like an absolute, she was supposed to start classes in the fall, but she wants to study criminal psychology and work in the criminal justice system, which no point starting that if you're gonna, well, one, end up in prison, or two, have a criminal record.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? So it's like our lives are on hold.
Yeah, let me I'm just gonna mute you for a second because there's a slight echo, and then I'll unmute for you to answer. So yeah, it's basically Aspen is guilty by association. I've seen situations like this before, in the wrong place, wrong time. And obviously you were not the one that was selling, drug paraphernalia, but the person that you were with had intentions to do so. And cases like this to me are just it's sad. It's unfortunate. What I'm curious about here, and we'll get to the GoFundMe later as well. Did they explain to you where this 33-year mandatory minimum comes from?
I mean, it was about the weed. It really is what it looked like. I mean, not to be completely honest, everything legal document that I saw none of it was really explained properly in any way, shape, or form. There's, certain terminologies it's lacks description of what's actually happening.
Well, what they did, they found, as far as we know, because they were like, well, until we send things to the lab, but they won't tell us anything until we hire the lawyer, then he'll get discovery. But there was Adderall, ketamine, Xanax, like pharmaceutical, I guess, that are used as party drugs or whatever. She didn't know about. She did know that he had marijuana, that she said he smoked freely with the people they met at the festival. It wasn't, she didn't see him sell any marijuana or anything else. She didn't know about anything else. But he did have marijuana on him, but that's a class one like there's, the penalty is higher for marijuana than meth. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're assuming that that's why their mandatory minimum says 33 years, but they're not forthcoming about the particulars until we pay the little lawyer that the magistrate recommended in this very tiny town. And then, do you know what I mean? Like, and the thing that is really bothersome, and you said you've seen cases like this, like guilt by association, these are investigators. These are people that the magistrate deals with criminal people all the time, knew that she wasn't. The lady at the jail, like the front desk lady or whatever, they're like, why is she in here? What, like, people can see, no, she's not that. So when an investigator, when somebody says, oh, these drugs are mine, in my legal named RV that I'm driving, and then
with
says
my own possessions.
Yeah, and her stuff is just in her travel
literally
bags.
Two suitcases.
So, and then they have investigators. You talk to the investigators. So are you telling me that they can't figure out that, oh, actually she didn't have nothing to do with this? No, it's a money grab then. It doesn't become about stopping criminals. It becomes about a money grab. Yeah. Otherwise, why wouldn't they say, oh, she has no criminal record, he's already copped to everything, you're free to go, sweetie, or whatever. Yeah. And instead they make my daughter pee on the side of the road, and take her to jail and threaten her with all of this. So you can't pretend that they're acting in good faith. You know what I mean? Like, no,
but it was kind. I mean, well, one lady, there's one
Miss Gray.
That's the lady, but holy crap.
And so from what I heard, because the whole time she was in jail, it took 15 days to get her the court date for a bail hearing. And so I was like living in my car outside the jail pretty much for that whole time. And so I was like going to parks and having to eat at restaurant places, and people are like, oh, are you traveling through? I'm like, no, my daughter's in jail. Everybody had a story. No, they take everybody. I saw it demonstrated literally right in front of me one night when I was, like I said, I was like sleeping in the car outside the jail. They brought in a young couple for domestic violence or whatever. Dude looked cool. The little young girl was beat up, and they charged them both with the same thing. You know what I mean? That it's about a.
And I would just like to say, like, I don't know, because of my bond terms and, you know, what I'm allowed to do, I can't contact any of the people that I was in there with. But one of the girl that was in my cell with me, was maybe mentally 8 years old. And doesn't have, she's in there because she stole 5 things from Kroger. She's been transferred to 3 different facilities. Everybody knows her there because she's been there so long. Because she stole from Kroger, and she's like maybe 50 something and so mentally childlike, and unaware, and
Like
just sitting in there rotten.
How are you putting somebody who's mentally impaired through the same system as people that know what they're doing? And do you know what I mean? Like, it really bothered her that we're not in a position to help this other girl that should maybe be in a care facility and not some sort of.
And even the other girl in my cell, she couldn't even write properly. Like
she was writing a letter to her lawyer.
Because, and it's just like, how are you putting somebody in a cage that like is writing like they're in 3rd grade?
And expecting them to understand the charges against them, or the, you know, and I don't know, that's just the dark side of the system. Like Aspen, I'm an Assange activist, I think is probably what, if any of your viewers know me, probably know me from that. But was in that fight the whole time. So she understands like the lawfare and the, you know, that kind of thing. But to be on the inside and experience and see somebody with special needs, way more special than her special needs, being treated like a criminal instead of like somebody that needs help. Like, there's no way after experiencing something like this that you can think that they're trying to protect their town or protect their citizenry from criminals. They're trying to milk everybody for every cent they have. You know what I mean? Like, by the end of this, if we do end up being able to finance the entirety of this, easily 40-50 grand. Easily. Do you know what I mean? Where do people come at least?
And that's not money that would have changed our lives. And we're having to keep me out so I can have a life, so that I can maybe like have kids, so that I can maybe finish building my house, like all of these things. Like,
it's okay. I don't know. There's just a lot of that awareness and concern of what about the people who don't have friends, who have friends with podcasts, or are, you know what I mean, can shine a light and get them the help they need. And those are thousands of people every day going through something like this. So,
I'll say this. When Charlie Mack, for those who don't know, Charlie Mack is a part of the Boston Mutual Aid chapter here with me. When Charlie reached out to me and told me about this, you know, I just thought to myself, like, how many other people, you know, have to run into this same issue, but they don't have an outlet. Like, they don't have the local news won't talk to them about this or let them cover, you know, their story, or they don't know someone with a podcast. But basically what we have, the big problem of it all, is we do have a for-profit prison system. And this is something, you know, I've been screaming about for a long time. Their goal is to meet quota. Their goal is to feed that prison industrial complex. And obviously someone like Aspen should have been just let go, you know, no charges here, because obviously, no, she's not selling drug paraphernalia. And the gentleman that she was with who was driving also told the officers that she was not responsible for any of this. And that brings me to another question. Have you heard from the gentleman who was driving the RV? Have you been able to hear from him or get in touch with him since all of this happened?
So I am not allowed to be in contact with
him or anybody that could be a witness. So her used to be best friend that kind of knew what was going on. She's not, he could end up being a witness. She's not allowed to have contact with anybody. So we're just like sitting here because she don't want to violate her probation or her bond.
Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble for trying to get myself out of trouble.
Yeah, I'm very curious what he is, because the reason why, when you tell me that he comes from a family with money, and it's great that he told the police officers that she was not involved. But at the same time, it also makes me wonder if he's been in this situation before, and if he just knows that he's going to get an easier break because he's white and because he comes from a family that has money. He's probably, they have the money to pay the legal costs. To your point, we're talking about legal costs. My friends at Heartlands Media went through a legal situation that was over $30,000 just for the legal costs, to pay the lawyers, etc. A lot of the money gets tied up there, right? So he's probably not worried about the financial implications because he comes from a family that does have money. And I'm just curious to see if he's going to be dealing with the same type of charges that she is dealing with as well, where they give him an easier time.
Well, and I'm concerned about that too, because he doesn't appear concerned, because she can see on social media that him and her ex-best friend and his girlfriend are going to festivals and actively still doing this.
Yeah, they're out. I've seen definitely on Instagram stories that they are having a good old time
at music
Everybody's
festivals.
going and having fun.
So,
all over the country.
And like the magistrate told us, he showed, he lifted up a folder that I guess was David's record and was like, how'd you get messed up with this guy? Like, this is what he does. He rides around in a caravan to music festivals selling drugs. So you know what I mean? Like, this is par for the course. And he probably won't get the time. He has a chemistry degree and rich parents, and he's white. It's just
This
terrifying.
This is so it's frustrating for me because, again, it just goes to show you about the system. People that have money are able to get out of these situations. People who have status or have networks and resources, they're able to wiggle out of these situations. And obviously he hasn't learned from this if he's still doing the same thing, going around to these festivals, and they're posting this on social media. This is absolutely insane. Meanwhile, here, Aspen is stuck with not knowing what her future is going to be, stuck with facing 33 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm curious, where was this in Georgia? Was this in Atlanta?
No, this is Peach County, Georgia. So
Fort Valley, it's south.
Yeah, it would have been a lot closer to the Florida-Georgia borderline.
Yeah. And it's what they do there. Like, that was made very clear to me. Even her lawyer said, no, they do. Out-of-state tags, they'll pull you over, see if they, I-75 is a huge highway, but it's about 2 hours south of Atlanta. It's just, I don't know. It makes it like, so nothing's really illegal for rich people. Things are only illegal for poor people.
You can get away with murder if you have enough money.
And 33 years, I don't think it's okay that David was selling drugs. But it's not like he was like shoving drugs down people's throats. Like, I don't even think the actual guilty party would deserve a mandatory minimum of 33 years.
No
to be
way.
fair, that's kind of ridiculous.
That's the rest of somebody's life.
But like when child rapists get 6 years.
Yeah, you can get on the
years.
map, and there's sex offender. You can get on a sex offender map, and boop, 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 and they're everywhere. But
they don't do 33 years. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't. That's why I'm saying it's not. The police, the system, none of it is in good faith. If money makes you innocent and the lack of money makes you guilty, that's not a justice system. It's a money grab.
I feel like I would like to say, just if I was like a drug dealer, I probably wouldn't be so broke. Like,
that's fair.
I'm the most starving artist there actually is. Okay. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, like we wouldn't have to try to fundraise.
But looking at the lives, like his lifestyle comparatively to mine, is like, I It just
If you were a drug
it's
trafficker,
just
we'd be able to afford the
silly.
lawyers.
Yeah.
He's able to afford the lawyers, you know.
Yeah,
So
I know that. I know he's got his lawyer secured. I do know that. And I know that
Um,
his lawyer wanted a lot more than me, so
how old are you, Aspen?
I am 28 today, actually, is my birthday. Yep.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry, I have a he was about to walk on the keyboard.
And I would like to say this for, there a lot of people are becoming more familiar with autism and the different ways that it presents in different people or whatever. But some people might be watching and think, 28 years old, did you not notice something was up, or did you not notice? And I don't mean to embarrass you. Aspen is intellectually probably the smartest person in the room. Well, you're really smart. Really smart. Socially, if people smile at her, she thinks they're her friend. She's not the best judge of character, which is why we kind of counted on her friend when he said, "No, you can trust him. That's fine." He knows that
Yeah, I
Aspen,
used somebody else's judgment.
yeah, so for anybody looking and saying, "Well, I guess she should have known better," well, she didn't know. What do you are we required now to run background checks on anybody we run into, or search somebody's vehicle before we accept a ride? Like, that's just absurd. Nobody's doing that. You know what I mean? But for anybody that might think at her age, I would say realistically her age emotional, like, is more like, you know a teen, 18, 19. You're like, she just doesn't have, no offense, good enough discernment about people. Like, and we did notice when that he threw money around, but we were told that he was a trust fund kid,
Yeah,
so
so
it wasn't.
I'm thinking
It's
daddy's
like,
money.
oh, lucky
Cool.
you,
Good
no
for
big
you.
deal.
That's awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think what I want people to take away from this is, number one, Aspen, this is not your fault, and I feel really bad about what happened to you. This shouldn't happen to anyone, and it's very obvious to me like what's happening here, and it's obvious to both of you what this is really all about. And we do have this criminal justice system that doesn't actually seek justice. We do have a for-profit prison system that is just there to increase numbers to make more money. That's what a lot of it comes down to. But then also there's the racial element, which is that they, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, they are harsher towards you than they are towards the trust fund kid, the guy who was driving this RV. He's gonna find a way out of this, right? So I think at the end of the day, my biggest concern is to make sure that you get the representation that you need so that you can beat this. And that is going to cost money. So, how can people support you? Where can people go to help you deal with the legal issues of all of this?
we've got a GoFundMe set up. It's my pinned tweet, Halo Benson on Twitter. She also has a website where she sells her art. It's artspen.com, artspen.com. That's helpful too. If
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But the GoFundMe is honestly the saving grace right now. That
like
it's just the
we're
truth.
almost where we can. I want to hire the investigator before I retain the lawyer so that I can like give him the lawyer money and this evidence that I feel like will at least take the marijuana completely off of any sort of her play. You know what I mean? But we're getting closer to at least having a little bit of, security, knowing that we have secured representation and have secured the investigator. Those are the two most important things. But yeah, Halo Benson on Twitter. I have the GoFundMe and my pinned tweet, and we add updates or whatever to it. So that's the best way to help right now.
Yep. We're cutting costs everywhere to save for it.
Yeah. So, and can I say something? like, and you can edit it out. We watched your documentary last night.
Oh man.
So good, and made us really pissed off, which everybody should be pissed off.
You did.
But
Ooh.
really good. Really.
It's been a while since I've seen a good documentary that's informative but also entertaining and just visually all well put together. It was just so good.
Yeah.
It was good. So, it's really good.
Yeah. Good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. This is all interesting because one of the things we talked about in the documentary is mass incarceration. So it's like a lot of this is just coming back full circle. And that is something that I really, I mean, I know you guys were, Assange activists, and that was one of the big things we tried to warn people about. Like, I've been to a couple of Assange protests, and we tried to explain to people, like, listen, this guy should not be in prison shouldn't be in prison, period. Because we do have free speech, and nobody should be thrown in prison for being a journalist or a publisher. But also the way that he was treated while he was there. I mean, honestly, like, I think had it not been for the activism from people like you, people like, of course, his wife and his father and his brother, I really do believe the plan was to let Julian Assange die there in that prison. And so this system itself is just 100% corrupt. But I'll be sure to link that GoFundMe to the video as well, so that people can donate. Guys, please don't. If you want to donate to something, I keep telling you guys about donating to politicians. If you want to donate to something that's going to make a difference and an impact in someone's life, this is something that I think you should donate to. Aspen should not be in prison. She should not be facing 33 years. This is absolutely ridiculous. So please donate and contribute to them if you can do so. And I do just want to leave with both of you with any final words that you want to share.
This could happen to anybody. That's the scariest part of all of it. And I just want everybody to be thinking about that.
Yeah, like we don't have a justice system.
Yeah.
You no longer have to be doing something wrong for your entire life to be hijacked. Yep. Be careful and take care of each other.
Yep.
And thank you so much. And happy birthday to her birthday twin,
Justin. Justin. Hell yeah. Sorry.
It's Charlie's nephew. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.